I always enjoy my visits to the hospital, which give me an opportunity, as patron of Turning Point.
Diana Frances Spencer, later Diana, Princess of Wales, was born on the 1st of July 1961 and died on the 31st of August 1997. She married Charles, Prince of Wales, and became one of the most beloved public figures of the late 20th century. Her life story is one of privilege, personal struggle, great compassion, dramatic public relationships, and a legacy of humanitarian work. She remains an international icon decades after her death. Early life. Diana Frances Spencer was born into the British aristocracy as the fourth of 5 children of John Spencer, then Viscount Althorp, and Frances Roche. Her birthplace was Park House on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. The Spencer family had a long history of close ties to the British royal family. Diana's grandmothers served as ladies-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. From early on, Diana's childhood was marked by instability. Her parents divorced when she was 7. She lived between her parents during separation, but her father won custody. Her younger brother Charles later remarked that the process of conceiving an heir, medical investigations, and family strain were deeply traumatic for the family. Diana later described her childhood as very unhappy and very unstable. In 1975, her father inherited the title Earl Spencer. Diana became Lady Diana Spencer. The family moved from Park House into Althorp, their ancestral home in Northamptonshire. Relationships in the home were often strained. Diana had a difficult relationship with her stepmother. Education and early work. Diana was initially homeschooling under a governess, then attended several schools: Sillfield Private School, Riddlesworth Hall, boarding, West Heath Girls' School, and for a time, a finishing school in Switzerland, Institut Alpenvitaminette. Academic achievements were modest. She failed her O-levels twice. Despite this, she showed strong interests in community work, was musical, piano, and enjoyed dance and sports. After finishing school, she held various jobs: nannying, nursery teacher's assistant, hostess work, cleaning, etc. These roles, humble in comparison to her later life, gave her early exposure to caring work and shaped her sense of empathy and humility. Meeting Prince Charles, engagement, and marriage. Diana first met Charles, Prince of Wales, when she was 16, and he was dating her older sister Sarah. Over time, Charles grew interested in Diana. Their courtship included formal introductions, visits, and time together on royal yachts and at Balmoral. Charles proposed on the 6th of February 1981 at Windsor Castle. Their engagement was announced officially on the 24th of February 1981. At that time, Diana left her job as nursery assistant and moved temporarily into royal residences, including Buckingham Palace, before her wedding. The wedding took place on the 29th of July 1981 at St. Paul's Cathedral, London. Diana was 20, Charles 32. The ceremony drew global attention. Hundreds of thousands lining the streets, hundreds of millions watching on television. Diana's dress, train, and presentation were dubbed fairytale-like. She became Princess of Wales. Family life and public role. Diana and Charles had 2 sons: Prince William, born 21st June 1982. Diana suffered postpartum depression after this first pregnancy. Prince Harry, born 15th September 1984. Diana was very involved in their upbringing, choices of schools, caregivers, presents, etc. She strove to give them as normal a life as possible amid royal expectations. As Princess of Wales, Diana assumed royal duties: engagements, tours, representing the monarchy, engagements across the Commonwealth, public events. Her popularity soared. There was a term coined around the public's fascination with her: Diana-mania. Struggles, separation, and divorce. Although the wedding in early years had a gloss of public romance, difficulties were present. The age difference, incompatibility, and extramarital affairs all became progressively more visible. Diana had an affair with James Hewitt in the mid-1980s. Charles rekindled his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. The media, which had first celebrated Diana, began documenting cracks. Several books and interviews exposed the internal troubles. Notably, Diana, Her True Story by Andrew Morton, revealed much of the emotional pain and mental health challenges she faced. There were also leaked phone tapes, tabloid stories. In 1995, her famous Panorama interview with Martin Bashir brought many of her struggles into public view. Her depression, bulimia, self-harm, her feeling of inadequacy, her unhappiness in her marriage. The Queen and royal advisors encouraged reconciliation attempts, but the relationship deteriorated. In December 1992, the palace announced the formal separation. The legal divorce was finalized in August 1996. As part of the divorce settlement, Diana lost the style Her Royal Highness, but retained the title Diana, Princess of Wales. She received financial settlement, shared custody of her children, and continued many of her royal and charitable duties. Caring commitment, charity and patronages. One of Diana's most lasting legacies is her charitable works and public concern for causes many royal figures had previously avoided or treated more formally. 1. Health causes. She became a figurehead for campaigning against AIDS stigma. In the 1980s and early 1990s, public understanding of HIV/AIDS was low, fear high. Diana broke barriers. She was one of the first in the royal family to touch AIDS patients, visit wards, hug people with HIV. These moments were powerful in changing public perceptions. 2. Landmines. Later in her life, Diana became strongly associated with the campaign to ban anti-personnel landmines. She visited minefields, wore protective gear, brought massive media attention to the victims of landmines. Many believe her activism helped to push forward international treaties banning landmines. 3. Cancer and leprosy. She was involved with cancer charities, visited hospitals, promoted support for patients, and gave attention to diseases that carried stigma or required compassionate public attention. Leprosy hospitals, children's cancer units, etc., were part of her many engagements. 4. Other social causes: youth, homelessness, drug addiction, the elderly, bereavement, mental health. Diana lent her time, visibility, and personal warmth. Her patronages included major hospitals, charitable trusts, arts organizations. She was hands-on. Her visits to people in suffering were not just photo ops. Many accounts record her compassion, courage, and how personal pain allowed her to empathize with others. Public image, style, and media. Diana became a symbol, in beauty, in style, in what was expected of a princess. But she also redefined what a princess could be: more emotionally open, more accessible, more willing to break tradition. Her fashion choices were followed closely by the media and fans. She was a fashion icon. She also had a complicated relationship with privacy and with the press. While the media made her one of the most photographed women in the world, much of what was intrusive deeply affected her. The paparazzi were a constant presence. Some of her more private struggles became public. Diana attempted legal action and protective measures at times, but they often came too late. Final years and death. After her divorce, Diana continued her charity work and undertook many public engagements. She maintained strong friendships and had romantic relationships, notably with the Pakistani-British heart surgeon Hasnat Khan, who some have called the love of her life, and later with Dodi Fayed. These relationships were conducted with a mix of publicity, privacy, and sometimes secrecy. In the summer of 1997, she was engaged in her anti-landmine and AIDS campaigns. Her last public engagements were in July 1997. On 31st August that year, she died in a car crash in Paris. She was 36. Her death triggered an outpouring of public grief around the UK and around the world. An inquest later found that her death was the result of unlawful killing due to gross negligence by the driver in pursuing paparazzi. Diana's legacy is broad, multifaceted, and enduring. Social attitudes. Her willingness to speak about mental health, her public compassion toward people with illnesses or conditions previously stigmatized helped shift public perceptions. AIDS, leprosy, and mental illness all benefited from her involvement. Charity and humanitarian work. Many of the organizations she supported continue in her name. Her patronages, public awareness. Some institutions were transformed by her input. Her campaign against landmines, for example, remains one of her most lasting political humanitarian achievements. Royal family impacts. Diana changed perceptions of the monarchy, making them more approachable, more in touch with popular sentiment and more sensitive to modern issues. Her sons, William and Harry, have frequently spoken about the influence she had on them. Fashion and culture. She remains a style icon. Her name, her life, has inspired books, films, television series, and art. So many people remember her not just as a public figure, but as someone who radiated warmth, kindness, and personal vulnerability.